This is the NAVEE ST3 Pro, and it absolutely rips. E-scooters might just be one of the funnest ways to travel around any city. With a 46-mile range, 1,000 watt of power, and a max speed of 15.5 miles per hour, this might just be the best one you can get. And it's actually pretty affordable. Welcome to the channel. I go by UG Tech, and I try to help people like you learn about the newest devices. If you enjoy this kind of content, the best way to support me is subscribing right down below. Let's get into the full review. So 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna go ahead and take this thing for its first ride, but first I wanna talk about what it was like unboxing it when you get this thing, because obviously it's a pretty decent size and it's made of super high quality materials, and also the specs, so you know what to expect while you're riding around with it. Now the scooter itself comes in this very large box, but honestly don't be intimidated by it. It's mostly just a little bit of foam packaging, and then you can literally just lift this thing out. After that, you just have to connect it together and then put 4 screws into the handlebar to make sure it stays on. This probably took me a total of 10 minutes from start to finish, and that includes getting it connected to the app, which has a lot of features we're gonna go over later in the video. Starting with the top end of the scooter, where we have our power button, which we can turn it on just by holding it down, a little bell. You can also toggle the lights on and off just by tapping this, your accelerator right here, and these ergonomic handlebars, which have a really nice grip to them, and built-in light indicators we can activate just by pressing here. This front screen gives you very basic information, including your battery power and then how many miles per hour or kilometers per hour you're going, plus the mode you're in, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And then you have your front and rear brakes, which are in a really accessible position. The rest of the scooter is made out of a super high quality metal and carbon fiber material and is really well made. So these are 10-inch tires, and one crazy feature with these is they actually have self-healing properties, so if you do get a small puncture, you're able to continue to ride. So one of the biggest selling points of this model is the suspension. So we're gonna try it out on some different types of surfaces, especially like little ledges and curbs that you would have in your neighborhood, and like tiny bumps you get on sidewalks and stuff like that. I think very important to test out to make sure you're not jumping around too much. So on my curb, I have this kind of slanted lift, and I wanna see how much it really affects me when I'm coming up at a good speed. Yeah, I barely felt that, but I want to go try it out on some other style curbs throughout the neighborhood. So I have my little travel camera and we're going to go test it out. So here's a nice little 2-inch curb coming onto my driveway. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah. So here's really the consensus I've come up with while testing this out. If it's a small curb, like 1 inch, you can go up it, no problem. If it's sloped, but a steep slope, you can go up it. You're barely gonna feel it. But if you have thicker, flat curbs, not gonna happen, not a good idea. However, I did go down a few of those, and if you have enough speed, you really don't feel it because their shock absorption system is so good. And even roads where you get a lot of like pebbly paths or there's some uneven surfaces, it really just glides pretty smooth with very minimal feel. So I am craving some ice cream, and typically when I'm craving a sweet treat, I want to walk to get it so I can work off the calories. But in this case, that 40-minute walk I usually take to Dairy Queen, we're gonna see how long it takes on this thing. And it's really only 2 miles away. Typically round trip, this would take me 120 minutes, and it's around 4 miles total. So we're gonna set my timer, rip off on the scooter, and see just how long it takes, but also talk about some features on the way. Get my sweet treat, come back, and see just how much battery life we have left. I've also been debating on how I want to record the footage for this, because obviously it's kind of hard. Do I want to use my phone? Do I want to use one of my action cameras? Well, I actually picked up a pair of these. So we're going to be recording everything through these Meta glasses, which should give you guys a really cool POV view of what it's like riding that thing. Let's get going. Okay, so we're going to take off. First thing, kickstand up, and we're just going to give it a little turn here. Now you're going to see an S here. That's actually sport mode. I'm going to talk about that while I'm driving. But to get started, all you need to do is give it a little bit of a push and then press that accelerator, and now we are off. So when you see the S on your dash there, that's sport mode, and that's going to give you maximum speed capability. But if you don't want this thing to be able to get all the way up to the 20 miles per hour, what we can do is tap this double tap it, and that's going to switch it. That mode right there is called pedestrian mode, and that's going to give you a max of around 6 miles per hour. So it actually goes pretty slow on this mode overall. You're really losing a lot of your power. But if we tap it one more time, this is going to be the standard mode. So this mode, I believe, is around 12 miles per hour, if I remember right, pushing on 13. So it's a lot more mild. But as soon as you switch it to sport mode, this is when you get all that acceleration there, and you can really cap it out. Yeah, we're maxing out at about 20 miles per hour right now. The steering control on this thing is actually pretty insane. So I want to test the braking system. We're going to talk about it more later, but let's get up to top speed here and try it out. Let's see how long to get to a complete stop. Oh, very quick. There we are, destination A. So that cut a 40-minute trip down to 9 minutes. There is a Find My mode where you can connect it to your phone, which is super useful, but one other thing I like to do is this lock option. So kickstand down, now we lock, and now if somebody tries to take it, they can't move anywhere with it. Let's get some food. So we got the goods, but I do think it took longer for them to make it than for me to actually get here, which is pretty crazy. All we have to do is unlock this, and we're good to take off. Okay, so we're gonna take the long way back. One thing I will say is I wish this thing had some sort of cup holder. That would really come in handy. Instead of me having to try to hold this the whole time. I kind of had to get a milkshake or else I would have been screwed. Okay, I think we gotta finish this first before we go any further. So I want to try this turbo mode. I guess it makes the acceleration a little bit faster to start. And I also want to turn on cruise control. So apparently if you hold the accelerator in the same position for 5 seconds, then it will continue at that speed. So let's try that out too. Oh yeah, that has much quicker acceleration. Oh my God. That's only in sport mode though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, there's the cruise control. You heard the button. And now I'm not touching anything and it's going at 20 miles per hour. Activate it again, so you just hold down the accelerator. Okay, we made it back. Kickstand down. 35 minutes total, and that includes 10 minutes at Dairy Queen and taking the long way back. We still have 26 miles remaining. Now that went down a lot more than I actually went. It went down about 20%, but if we go to driving record, it'll show you we went around 4.7 miles total on that run, and that's during our first usage. So you guys can see my hair is all crazy from that first ride, but that was actually a super fun experience. I don't know if those glasses are really gonna show you just how quick this thing accelerates, especially with that turbo mode, and just how fast it really is, but it is actually a super fun time. Now, one thing I was concerned about was obviously shock absorption, because when you're going over curbs or little bumps, you can really feel it on a scooter sometimes. But with this, it's not really the case because they have this damping arm suspension system, which really helps to absorb all those kind of bumps that you would usually feel when you're going over little curbs. And that's the same with their triple brake system, where you have a front drum brake, a rear disc brake, and a rear EABS brake. And combined, when you look at my brake test there, it's instantaneous. Like, we're talking about like a second to come to 0 after going around 20 miles per hour. There's still one more environment I want to test this in, and that's nighttime, to see just how safe this is. So I'm about to go out for my nighttime test, and there's a few things I want to look at here. The main one being how bright are the lights on this scooter. And it actually has a bunch of different lights on it. First, it has that front headlight, which you can toggle on and off. It has those turning signals, which are actually pretty bright. The back tail light / brake light. And then one extra really cool bonus on this one is it has a bottom ambient light experience, which you can change from a bunch of different colors, as well as changing the mode, whether it's moving or rotating between the colors or flashing. And this not only makes it look a little cooler, I guess, but it also adds to the brightness while you're driving it around at night. Same thing as before, we're going to be recording myself going on this little trip here and kind of talking about my experience as we go. One thing you can do is tap the power button like that, and that's going to turn on the lights on. So you can now see that super bright front one, and I got the red ambient light, the tail light, and then our turning signals are all working, so let's head out. It was supposed to rain out, and I was hoping we were gonna get some rain because this does have some advanced traction control too that you can turn on. So I think I'm gonna whip down this field because it does get pretty dark. You guys didn't see? I dropped my AirPod, but we got it. I'm not sure if you saw that, but that was actually pretty bright in the field. I'm also really happy I got my AirPod back. That would have sucked. Okay, that was actually pretty bright the whole time, especially in that field. It really lit it up. The only unfortunate part was it was so bumpy in the field, even with the good suspension. Yeah, my AirPod fell out, and luckily I was able to get it. So now we can just tap that button. That's going to turn off the lights there, and I'm going to turn the scooter off for the night, and I'll see you guys in the mornings. So you know that feature I showed you earlier in the video when I was stopping at Dairy Queen and I went and locked it with the app, and then you had to go back in the app and unlock it? Well, this actually has a really cool thing called Bluetooth proximity locking and unlocking. And this means when you move away from your NAVEE, it will lock while it's on, while your phone is around it. And when you get closer, it connects to your phone via Bluetooth and miraculously unlocks. So for example, I have my phone, my NAVEE's unlocked, we can start using it. Well, watch what happens as I move my phone away from it. And now we try to take off. Okay, but you might be asking yourself, well, what if I don't have my phone on me and I still want to use my scooter? Well, they thought of a solution to that. So actually what they've done is created a password system. So if we press this button here, you'll see we can toggle through codes, and I've already created a code for mine. We enter it by pressing the brake. That's number 2, number 3. That's our last number. Now we tap this power button right here, and now it's unlocked, and we can start using it. Now, one of the pictures I saw on their website was a guy holding it and carrying it, loading into a vehicle. So I want to see if this is pretty easy to fold up and, you know, put into the vehicle for the average person. Now, I'm probably stronger than the average person, but I'll let you know how heavy I think it is. So we'll open that up. Now, all you have to do is, there's a little knob here, and this comes down like this. Yeah, I would say the average person could probably carry that. It's pretty light, and the handlebar comes down enough where you can see it easily fits in the back of my SUV without a whole lot of extra room. I won't lie, this has been one of my funnest videos that I've done in a while. I got to rip around on a really powerful electric scooter and have a lot of fun. I'll also say I've gotten conflicting numbers on the max miles per hour you get on this. On their website it says 25, on the box it's like covered up and it says 20 miles per hour. So it might be based on your country, maybe some have restrictions, but I'll verify all those details down below in the description as well. In terms of price, this thing is regular $949 USD. On their website right now it's on sale for $759 USD, but I have the link down below in the description, plus any coupon code that they supply, so you guys can also get a discount if you decide to check one out. But I can tell you this is definitely going to be one of the funnest ways you travel around your city next summer. Anyway guys, thanks for checking out this video. Like always, make sure to subscribe down below before you leave, and I'll see you next week.